Hello, everybody. I'm Lorenz Dean, and we are here with Stories from the Road to the Ring, with the star from Stories from the Road to the Ring, Rugged Ronnie Garvin. How you doing, Garvin?
I'm doing great. I'm doing super. Can't ask for any better.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Oh man. So let me first up start asking, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, we're in an RV park here where I'm at, and everybody brought a plate, a dish, and there was more food than there was probably 30 people.
Oh shoot.
Some of them were just met this year. Uh, some of them from that we've known. They've been in the park here for quite a long time. So
Okay.
it's interesting. We have a good time.
Nice. Nice, nice. Well, I gotta ask you, did anybody, you know how you have that all year round? Sometimes you got that one family member or that one friend, that one person. You don't have to mention the names, but that you didn't expect or want to show up, and you're like, oh, geez, what is he or she doing here? Did you ever have any one of those?
No, no, not really. No,
No.
I never experienced that very much. You know,
Okay.
I steer clear of people that I don't if I don't agree with them or they don't agree with them. I don't hold no grudges. I just kind of ignore them politely.
Got you.
if
I
if you can do
understand.
that politely.
I understand. Oh man. Okay, okay. Well, I know you ate pretty well. So did I. So I got to
Oh yeah,
ask you, did you put on a couple of pounds?
yeah. As a matter of fact, I went to the gym yesterday morning and yeah, about 2 pounds.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a big jump. Usually, but I ate good all day long, not just for the dinner. You know,
Right,
I was
right.
snacking on this, snacking on that. But hey, I'll skip a breakfast,
Ah, there you go. There you
even
go.
it out.
I decided to what you call it. I was at I was at what 246, 246 pounds. I went from my normal walking around weight was at 175, and then I went from 175 to 246. I'm like 5'8". So so I decided, I said, you know what? Once you put on that much weight, like I used to put on weight that fast anytime I had an event, like if I had a show, do the wrestling or even the boxing and stuff like that. So I'll either put on the weight or even lose the weight depending on what the sport was. Um, my knees, this is the first time that I kept this weight on for this amount of time. So my knees started hurting me a little bit, but now it got used to it because I've been walking around this way for I think
Yeah,
over a year and a half now. So I
yeah,
decided, I said, okay, I'm 246. Let me drop 6 pounds and just stay within that 240 pound mark because I got used to it and stuff like that. So I think if I went back to 175, I would look like I'm on drugs. Like,
well, you can be too skinny too, but I was 240, 242 my whole career almost. When I was wrestling, but I was working out a lot, and I was just that was a good weight for me. And then years later, I had an ablation on my heart because I would go into AFib, and I've been perfect for the last 6 years. Uh, my doctor told me, he says, drop your baby. That's one thing you got to do, he says. So when I came back 6 months later for a checkup again, I had lost. I was down to 230.
nice.
So no, I got that wrong. I was down to 205. 205.
205.
Because after I quit wrestling, I dropped down to 230. And I was maintaining 230, but still it was a little too heavy, I guess. So anyway, he was happy with me losing the weight, and I told him, I said, "Well, I didn't drop a baby; I dropped a toddler."
Oh man. Well,
So
you
I
you
stay
have
around. I stay around about 202, 201, 200. I don't go over 205.
205, and you're not going under 200 either, right?
Right at it, right at it. That might be 199 one day and 201. I fluctuates about 5 pounds
By five
either
pounds.
way. you know.
Okay.
So, but I feel good.
Good, 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 good. So I know you mentioned as far as you still when you used to well, I know you still work out, but what type of workout regimen did you have? What type of workout routine did you have when before a show? What would be your workout routine before
Oh,
and
I
after?
do. I used to do a lot of squats. Probably my legs were pretty good sized legs, And I squat, jumping squats. Jumping squats.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? I
Hmm.
learned that from Hiro Matsuda, Japanese guy, and he would do uh, hundreds and hundreds, and so that was one of my workout squats, jumping squats. Instead of weight, you know, you use your own body weight
Yeah.
and keep doing them and doing them, and you'll be surprised, because in the gym, if you go too heavy with squats, you can hurt yourself.
Right. Right.
You can hurt
Right.
yourself. It puts a lot of stress on your knees. You know, your body weight, they're used to it. So what
Right.
it does is pumps up your legs, and you get. So that's a workout I liked, and I did a
Got
lot of bench press. And what I would do is I would do a lot of reps
you. Hmm.
instead of go way 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 up. On the weight. A lot of guys
Hmm.
do that, and but I do a lot of reps. Curls same way, a lot of reps,
A lot of
uh, and it's actually good for your heart. It's a it's a
cardio.
cardio workout.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
You're right. You're 100% right. Did, so well, let me ask you, especially since we just had Thanksgiving. I have to know this. What's your beverage of choice? Is it wine, alcohol, beer, or all three?
I'm not much on alcohol and drinking. Uh, I like a little wine sometimes. My wife is a wine drinker,
Okay.
and and most of our friends. So I'll have a little glass of wine, just kind of join them. You know, I can do. I couldn't care less about alcohol. I used to drink a little beer, quite a few beers, years and years and years ago. When you're 20 years old, 19, 20, before it's legal, you even start.
I got you.
But no, I never was much of a drinker. I was around a lot of drinkers because I remember what's his name, Dick Murdoch.
Mhm.
I mean, we'd make a trip on the road, and he'd have a case of beer, 24, and he'd be gone by the time we got back.
Jeez. Jeez.
Yeah, he was a hell of a guy, but you never get drunk. Well, I didn't know
Right.
him. Didn't look drunk. But
So who was the guy after a heavy night of drinking that they would be the only one standing, like the last man standing, so to speak? Who would be that guy as
oh,
far as
Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant?
Andre the Giant drank 128 beers one night. I was there, and he walked out on his own,
What?
and you couldn't tell. 128 beers. That's happened in Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, in a bar. He put two, three tables. You could put three tables there and cover the tables with beer, and he would drink 1 to 2 beers before I could drink one if I was a drinker. Before most people could drink a beer, he'd have two gone. He just guzzled them. Just,
So
and
I'm
wine,
I'm curious. Uh,
and wine,
what's
he could
uh,
drink wine. The same thing. Near the end, he drank a lot of wine, even in the dressing room. Yeah.
right?
Well,
Oh wow.
he knew he didn't have a longevity, you know, because he was still growing, and he was in pain too because of his back, and he got bigger and bigger. He was, I think, 500 pounds or better when he died. And when
Wow.
I first met him in 1972, 74,
Uh,
uh, he was probably two 275. You know, big man, but he was about 275, maybe 290. But he was 7 foot 4. So you don't look fat when you're 7 foot 4 and you're two
of
ninety.
course not.
But he kept growing and growing, and he had that disease. I can't remember the name of it. That
Giantosis, giant. That's a
yeah,
giant
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. I,
Well,
oh
he,
wow.
he knew he knew the expectancy of his life was not over 50. So I imagine that's why he drank. You know, he was a great guy, super nice guy, and that I can say.
Right. Right.
And he was a strong guy. I'll tell you. You know, he
I
didn't
heard
need to
so.
work out. He didn't need to work out a whole lot.
Right. Well, let me ask you. I know you had a match with Andre. I'm trying to remember. Did you body slam him or
Oh no, no, no,
no?
no!
You
But
didn't body.
I've got a picture of it. Uh, got a picture of it. I want to see if you can see it. I
Yep.
just found it, but I've had it, and I gave it to a friend of mine a couple of days ago. I've had 4 or 5 of them.
Right.
Hang on a second. Yeah, I wrestled them in Knoxville, Tennessee, 1978. Yeah, you go online and you can look it up. Knoxville, Tennessee, Andre the
Mhm.
Giant, Ronnie Garvin. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
I think
anyway,
I may have seen it. I might have even used it for a thumbnail for one of our videos when you spoke about that story with the whole WrestleMania 3 incident.
yeah.
Is it you
Here,
choking out Andre and you had
here,
yellow tights?
here, I got it. See it?
Yep, that's the classic. Nice. Listen, you gotta I gotta get an autograph of that one. I
Yeah,
gotta get
that's a good
that's the
one.
classic one.
Somebody, I never knew this existed. About 2 years ago, I went somewhere signing autographs. Somebody showed me that picture. And I said, wow. And they made me about 2 or 3 of them and give them to me. You
Right,
know, it's nice to have, you know.
right. You know, when I look at a picture like that, honestly, I see a sign of respect because Andre wouldn't have done that job for anybody unless he
Oh,
really
Lord.
liked you. Unless he really,
Oh, let me tell
yeah.
you, I got a match. You should see the match. I had him on the ground most of the time. I I hit him over the head with chairs. I'm just so, I mean, yeah, he never done that even with Hulk Hogan or anybody.
I know, I
What he
know.
done, you know. And why 2 or 3 times during the match, he was on his knees and I was punching him and I was even with him and he was on his knees.
And and that match that you're talking about, that was before that picture, correct? That was before that
Oh
picture.
yeah.
That
Uh,
was
no, that was the. This is during that match. I
oh
only
the,
wrestled one time.
oh okay, okay.
Yeah, I only wrestled him one time. And the thing was is he had a partner. It was a handicap match. He had a partner, and he wrestled. I wrestled both of them.
Oh
This is
man.
and you know how this came about was I had a wrestling. I was over like hell in Knoxville. You know, I had the nickname One Man Gang,
Right.
and so I beat up 2 or 3 guys. Man, I mean, I was wild. I go outside, hit him over the head with chair. I was a little bit like my gimmick was like what's his name was in WWF Stone Cold.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that was basically my gimmick then before he ever come up with it. You know, and yeah, I was over. I could have run for mayor there and be elected. So I wrestled Joe LeDuc. I had a partner. It was a tag team. Joe LeDuc was my opponent, and another guy I can't remember his name. And I broke his hand on the post. I took his arm and swinged it on the ring post on the outside, fighting out of the ring.
Okay.
Anyway, he wound up wearing a cast. Well, he was wearing a cast, and Andre the Giant was coming in to the territory. This is in 1978. He'd been in the country about 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years, and so he would go spend a week here and a week there. Different. He traveled all around. So he got,
Right.
you know. Well, he came. He was supposed to be coming to Knoxville, which he
Hmm.
did, and the guy that had the cast uh, kind of challenged me. He's because he was not happy about that, and he told me, Andre, they booked me with Andre, and they wanted to kind of teach me a lesson. So I didn't want to accept the match, Andre the Giant, So they kind of sneaked it in. And when then I refused to wrestle him. And I said, well, there's only one condition I'll wrestle him. If he has a partner, because I'm going to kick both of them's ass. That was my gimmick. I didn't want to wrestle him by himself. I said it'd be too easy. So they booked him with a guy. I can't remember the guy's name. He's from Alabama, I think. Mobile, Alabama, originally. Anyway, that was a handicap match. Ronnie Garvin against Andre the Giant and so-and-so. And the Coliseum was full. We packed the Coliseum in Knoxville. And so anyway, that's what he done. I got rid of the guy first because the other guy started first. And I pile drive him on the concrete floor. And then I came back in the ring and I wrestled Andre the Giant. And we just fought like crazy, man. It was good. It was good. People were standing. But they didn't tape. They taped the beginning of the match.
Right.
But that was the deal with him because he was going to travel and go to New York eventually and go all around the country, And we didn't want to go the ending. But the ending, I beat him.
Okay.
But I beat him. I didn't pin him.
Okay.
I didn't pin him. Actually, he got disqualified.
You got
because when I went, I had him down on his back and I went to cover him.
Mm-hmm.
When I covered him for a pin, the referee counted, and the referee was counting. He shoved me so high in the air, I got airborne. I went over the top rope.
What
when I went over the top rope, that was a disqualification.
Really?
Because that was the rules of disqualification if you go over the top rope. Well,
really back then.
Yeah. So I got to win the match.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't pin him, but
do you think they should bring some of these rules back in the with the closed fist or with the throwing over the rope like you mentioned?
Yeah, because you can do a lot of things with those things. You got to have rules to make it interesting.
Right.
And then when you break the rules, well, if you're a bad guy, the people get pissed off too.
Right. That's true.
I mean, it just makes sense.
What was the conversation like in the locker room with you and Andre when you was working out that whole story? It was pretty much cut and dry, real simple.
Well, when he told me he wanted to do all that, that was all my ideas, all of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And the promoter liked it. Well, I saw it, but I didn't know he was going to do as much as he did.
Right.
I mean, Lord have mercy. I had him down on the ground. I come off the top rope and the knee drop. I hit him with over the head with chairs. It was only about, it was not a long match, but I got a video of it.
Okay.
I got a video of it. As a matter of fact, it's right here. But it's called a Ronnie. They made a Ronnie Garvin special.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if you can read this. Ronnie Garvin special.
Okay. Got you. I see it. Yep.
And on that is me beating about 10 guys. Action, boom, 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 boom. And they threw in that match with that. So it's about a 4 to 5 minute special. And it's nothing but action and boom, 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 boom.
So it's a highlight. It's a highlight of your matches.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
nice. Gotta see that one day. Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you, did you ever have any issues especially during that time with the one-man gang character? Did you have any issues like traveling to local bars and stuff like that? Like anybody wanted to test you?
I avoided a lot of places because, a couple of times. Well, back then, there's, these people, what people are when they go drinking and stuff like that. And I usually I went to one bar that I knew pretty good. I never had a whole lot of problem, but a couple of times. And it was simple. I've had people come in my face and say, "I'm gonna kick your ass." I boom, hit them in the nose. They're gone. You know, they're back on the floor. And if you're gonna have a fight, you don't want it alone. You
Yep,
know,
yep.
if you're
Quick
gonna
and
tell me
fast.
you're gonna kick my ass, you better take your face out of my face because I'm
Oh,
using.
oh my God.
People don't realize how much damage you can do to somebody with your face, with your head.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
bust an eye, but hit the nose. That's the best part.
So when you deliver a headbutt, did you have any practice with that, like where to land that headbutt, or?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you can hit it on the side, the temples.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
On the nose. The nose is the best because you can't see. Your eyes will
Right.
be so blurry that you can't see nothing,
Right.
and usually blood splatter. You know, and it's over. And you're not going to kill the guy, but you're just going to embarrass him and hurt him a little.
After
I
that, you
learned
got it.
I learned to use my head from wrestling British wrestlers. Because
Okay.
we had a lot of English wrestlers come in the states, and they were big on using their heads because they play a lot of soccer. So when you get into a fight, and a lot of times your arms are busy blocking, and boom, 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 boom. You
Oh,
can do a
shit.
lot of damage with that head. So
Uh,
use it. Use your head.
literally.
Literally. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned you've had a lot of English guys come into town. Did you ever wrestle? I believe his name is Christopher Adams.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was I can't remember. Les Thornton. You ever heard of him?
No, I have to look him up.
Thornton. And then there was another one. There was quite a few over the years, and they're
Mhm.
good guys, man. They make you laugh all the times. You know. As a matter of fact, I got a neighbor here, and he's British, and they
Uh-huh.
live in this big, huge motor home. And I mean, we've had the last 2 weeks here. I've had a great time. They're funny, you know. They're just
Yeah.
good people.
Good, good, good. Oh man. Okay. So let's change gears a little bit. We'll go back to the wrestling, but let's change gears a little bit. Let's start talking RVs.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna talk about when choosing an RV, you can consider these things and these are some of the things to consider when you're choosing an RV. And then we'll go deeper into it as I go into every statement.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Number one, size. How much space you need and the length of an RV. So
Well,
tell me something about that.
you got to decide what you're going to. Are you going to travel a lot? Well, you may want to downsize some. Instead of these huge, huge things, you're going to drag it. First of all, the bigger the RV, like a fifth wheel, for example, that's what I usually have. Fifth wheel, you're going to need a truck that can do it, and
Mhm.
usually you got to buy a diesel truck. You
Okay.
you'll get better gas mileage, and they're more powerful. And but it depends on the size. Again, you can get a 2500 truck or a 3500. Most likely, if you got a big RV, you're going to need a 35. Well, you buy a truck that's probably 75, 80,000. You know,
Okay.
trucks are expensive, diesel, and I usually always like the Cummins diesel, Allison
Right.
transmission. I have five speeds, stick shift, it's 5 speed, because they work better. You got that low gear,
Mhm.
stuff like that. But if you're just going to do like we're doing here, uh, we used to travel a lot. I still do a little, but we park. We don't go anywhere now. We're not going to be going anywhere until the 1st of April.
Mhm.
You, you know, you probably could use a big one,
Right.
you know. But again, if you buy the big one, you got to think about what you want. We this year we kind of downsized. I just got a tag along trailer that you pull behind,
Mhm.
and it's 36 foot. And
Okay.
we got a bedroom here. We got a fireplace. We got the TV. got a kitchen, refrigerator. Uh, it's wide. It's probably because we got a slider that opens up the camper. You know what a slider is?
Yep.
You
Yep.
see them. Okay, well, it's 12 feet long. That's what I'm sitting on. I'm sitting on a slider right now, and it's 12 feet.
Okay.
It's got a couch over here. Got a couch. They got a club seating here. Got a couch, and when I travel, this comes in.
Right.
This comes in. So because they can't be more than 8 feet wide for the highway.
So it becomes more compact.
And they're lighter. I got bought a brand new Ram, Dodge Ram, and it's only a 1500, and a 1500 will not pull one of those big ones,
Right.
but it'll pull this. I can pull up to 11,000 pounds with my 1500.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it because, see, I can travel. We left home about 2 months ago, and we wind up in Texas where my son is.
Mm-hmm.
And when we came back, and we stopped. And another thing, I don't travel like I used to at the beginning. I could drive 1,000 miles, and now I cut down. I'm driving 250 to 300 a day, 250 usually, 270, 5 to 6 hours.
Okay.
You're enjoying your trip, and we make reservations at RV parks. So we go from RV park until we get home, our destination.
Okay.
And now I'm going to Texas to visit my son. And so he got to come. We stayed there for like 2 weeks in Galveston, Texas. And so, you got to use it for what, and it's easy. I got a smaller camper, less room, but still plenty.
Still plenty.
We got a bathroom, nice big shower. Bedroom is in the front, and it's 36 feet long instead of 40, 42.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being 16, 17,000 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of weight and consumption on fuel and all around.
Right.
And last year we went to Michigan, same way. We went up there, spent 2 weeks traveling around. We're probably going to go to Canada. I might be going up your way this summer. I know I'm going towards New Hampshire, Canada. But it's so much easier. The maneuvers a whole lot better in traffic. So, and you're not living there for the rest of your life. It's
Right.
not like buying a house. You can do what, that's something you gotta. If you ever buy one, sit in it, and you and your wife say, "We have enough space. We can cook. We got a microwave. We got everything we need. Refrigerator, sink, hot water, air condition. Uh, you know, everything you want to need. That you're going to need, except for, my other one was almost not quite twice the size of this, but pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a fifth wheel is taller. You go into a fifth wheel, you walk in, your ceiling is about 9 foot tall. So it makes you feel like you're in a house.
And I got you.
Because of and then you got these sliders. Well, when everything is open, you'd swear you're almost like, you don't feel like you're in a camper.
Right. Right.
It
Right.
feels like in a camper because but if as soon as you go up to, but we like it. We got everything we need. And we're only here for 4 months, 5 months.
Now, you mentioned that it's not really to live there permanently, but if one wanted to, they can. You just have to travel from season to season, go from one area to another area that would suit as far as the climate that you're used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, do you want to spend the money on gas, on the fuel, on the truck? Because you're going to need a bigger truck.
Got you.
So you got the expense. You got to, it's up to whatever your wallet is one handle. You can't. What do you want to spend?
I understand.
So
So you might have covered this part already, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I think you covered some of it. They said what you want inside and out, such as storage, space, kitchen, amenities, and bathroom facilities.
Yeah, and your bedroom, the layout. They got so many floor plans that it's just mind-boggling. You'll walk into one of those big dealership, and you'll be confused after a while, because you'll see, so if you look at so many of them, you know, but you gotta sit down and say, well, am I going to be happy with this? This is almost like an efficiency apartment.
Right, right.
Single person,
Mhm.
efficiency apartment. We got a couch that makes a bed. We got the bedroom in the front, but you just got to analyze to your lifestyle. You know,
Right.
uh, that's it's a choice thing, and a lot of times you got to be careful. Uh, you you do some research on them, because sometimes they're not all the same. Some are not as good as others.
Right.
You know,
When when you went RV shopping for the first time, did you bring somebody with you that has experience with RV, or it was just you and your wife just playing it
believe
by eye and stuff like
believe it
that?
or not, believe it or not, I never bought a new one,
Okay.
and we had great service. The reason, because when you buy a new one, you're going to have little issues. I mean, nothing serious, but you may have a problem with five, six, seven different things. You know, and usually you have to take them back and they fix it. It's on warranty. When you buy a new, it's on warranty. Usually, if you buy a used one that's a year old, 2 years
Mhm.
old, sometimes the people will buy one and a year later say, we need to go bigger. They got the money, you know. So you benefit because you're upgrade too, you know.
Mhm.
And those campers, and you got it so much cheaper,
Mhm.
so much. My first one, I bought it. I had it for 2 years. It was a big fifth wheel. Uh, it was pretty good size, bigger than this. And I kept it for 2 years, and I sold it for what I paid for, to
Mhm.
the penny,
Mhm.
to the penny. And so I turned around and bought another used one, and that's what I've been doing. Used one that are not that old, too old. You don't want to buy something that's 7 or 8, 10 years old, because a
Right.
lot of times people don't do the maintenance on the roof. The roof has to be maintained, and it's not expensive. They just put a coating on it, because
Okay.
usually in the old days they had metal roof. In the last 15 years or more, maybe, yeah, probably 20 years, the rubber roof. They did that because it made the RV too heavy. They try to cut back on the weight, and metal lasted forever. That's another thing. Too good. They don't want it to last forever. They want to sell some parts. Well, but I done that. Even this one here was a year old. A year old. This is a 22, and I've had it for a year. And there was a feller that bought this. We go on Craigslist, we go on Messenger, we go. My wife does all that, and that's how we find them. And we found this one in Virginia. From
Mhm.
Tennessee, there was about 4 hour drive maybe, and it was an older guy. He was building a house, and he needed a place to stay. He had a piece of land. He was living in this camper. He lived in it for a year. And he told us, and we could tell too. He says, I don't cook. He says, I didn't cook. He says, I took showers and I slept in here. That's about it. He never traveled. He bought it. They took it to his lot. That was the only trip that RV had taken. This camper had taken. So it was like brand new. You look outside underneath. It looked like brand new. And we got it very good price.
Oh, boy. Nice.
And if we sell it, I guarantee I could sell it today, probably even get maybe 1,000 or 2 more.
Oh,
Because it's
shoot. Nice.
good shape. You maintain, just put new tires. Tires, you got to change them every 5 years. You know, yeah, that's what they recommend. You don't want to blow a tire pulling an RV. Because well, it'll damage the RV. I've
Okay.
seen that a lot, you know. the side when the tires rip apart. You know, it breaks the walls underneath where the wheels are at. Yeah,
Oh
it does a
shoot.
lot of that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's instead of being cheap about it, 5 years. There's a date on the tire. That
okay.
was made,
Okay.
so they recommend no more than 6 years max. And
And,
depending, what we do is we cover our tires here when we're parking the park
right.
for a long time. We got covers cover the tires because the sun is the worst enemy of a tire.
No, thank you for that. That's the
Yeah,
reason I mentioned that. Well, we'll go back to the RVs is because I have a couple of scooters, and some I don't use all year round, and at times I keep them. I keep them all outside. So
yeah.
does that also go for that too? Like you have to protect the
Oh yeah, well
tires.
they dry rot.
We dry rot.
You got to look at them because they crack. They start cracking. You know. And even
Got,
if you don't drive it, if I parked this thing here for over 6 years, I wouldn't move it without putting new tires on it.
got you. Got you.
Because yeah, it just the weather, the weather. But
Got you.
yeah, like I say, I never spent all the money. This last one that I sold, it was my big fifth wheel.
Hmm.
Last year, I got $500 less than what I paid. I mean, what I paid for it, I sold it for $500 less than.
Got you.
I got all
Got
my
you.
money back, and it was still nice. It's not far from here. As a matter of fact, it's Lake Russo, right up the road. And it was a
Okay.
single guy. He bought it. He fell in love with it. We had cabinets, and it was all wood and island kitchen and everything.
Okay. 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 Okay.
So you can find deals. You got to look around and just ask somebody that's got experience. If you know somebody, say you want to come with me, see what you think about it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. That would be a
especially
while.
if you know somebody that had one. They'll tell you. Look for this, look for that. You know, and usually if you buy one that's only about 2 or 3, 4 years, you can go 4 or 5 years, but I wouldn't
Mhm.
go much more than that. You know, and make sure that the roof has been maintained and there's no leaks. You know, uh, air condition works, everything works.
Got you.
It, it's
Okay.
almost like a house, but if it's been maintained, you can also tell if it's been maintained properly. You know,
Correct.
I went to look at some, and people were smoking in there. You walk in, and I smell smoke right away. I'm not buying, you know. Or they got two big dogs that were living in there too with them. Uh, I love animals. I love dogs. We had a little dog ahead, but a big dog they'll do some damage.
Mm,
They don't mean to, but they're just
I know.
you know.
It's the nature of the beast.
Oh yeah. Well, a good big dog is good. If you got a huge house and you got maybe a back porch that you can put them on, that's out of
Right.
the weather or something. You keep them in there most of the time.
Right.
You walk them a lot. Give them their exercise, but they don't. You know, I love animals, but I tell you, a big dog in a camper doesn't work real well.
Okay, so now the next topic is purpose. Purpose when you're choosing an IV. So when it comes to purpose, it's whether you'll use it for occasional trips or full-time living.
Well, full time living, they're not made to last. You know,
Okay.
it's like, would you buy a? Well, it all depends. How can I say this? It's like I have never bought a double wide because a double wide does not appreciate.
Mhm.
A double wide depreciates over time. A house appreciates.
Correct.
So I'd say a double wide, if you maintain them real good, probably will last you maybe 20 years, maybe more, but it depends on what kind of roof you got. Metal roof is the way to go with anything. Metal roof is the way to
Mhm.
go.
Mhm.
I built a house in West Virginia when I lived there, and I was pleased with that metal roof. I just bought a house last year when I sold and moved to Tennessee. I made sure the house had a metal roof, and it was a year-old house, you know, with a metal roof. So I won't have to worry about a metal roof 25, 30 years or more, you know. And
Yeah.
it's cheaper in the long run.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things you got to consider.
Well, the next statement is actually you mentioned cheaper. Budget. Now, budget. How much you can afford to spend?
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
exactly,
next. Yeah.
exactly. And like a camper, like I told you, if you buy the right camper and you keep it, say 2, 3 years, and you kept it the same way, and you want to upgrade for something a little bigger, that's what we did. You'll get most of your money back on that first one.
Gotcha.
And this
Gotcha.
last one we sold, we got $500 less than, I mean, we got $500. Yeah, we sold it for $500 less than we had paid for.
Okay. Okay.
So we got
Okay.
all our money back minus $500.
Not
We
bad
just
at all.
no, no, and the camper was in great shape, and it was well, it was '09.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
was an '09. So it's 20. I mean, not quite 20. It's about 15 years, 14 years, 14 years old.
Okay.
Let's see, '09. I'm not good on math anymore. I used to be real good, but
Oh,
yeah, if you, I always told my son, if you want to smell the new is more expensive. I said, smell the new when you get older, you're retired, and you got plenty of money. You'll enjoy the new smell a whole lot more.
yep. Yep.
You
You're
know,
right.
and being used doesn't mean it's bad. Especially if it's taken care of. We bought one time. It had been under a roof. It was covered, so it had
Mhm.
never been in the weather. They just took it on the road to go camping for weekends and short vacations. Came back home, put him under a roof, so it was not exposed to the sun. The paint was perfect because the sun will destroy the paint over years.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
beautiful shiny paint on the outside, you know,
Mhm.
after 5, 6, 7 years, it deteriorates.
Yep.
Doesn't
Yep.
doesn't shine anymore like it used to.
Yep. Yep. You're right. You're right. You're right.
So a
Um,
lot of things to consider.
and now, well, you've been touching the subjects before I
Plus,
got to it.
plus, plus, the wife has to be happy.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, she's the one that's gonna be maintaining it. So yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
maintain I maintain the outside. My wife maintains the inside.
Got it. That's the
That's
key.
her domain.
Yeah, there you. Ay,
A
ay,
happy
ay.
wife is a happy life.
Oh man. Oh, okay. So now the next one is maintenance, and you've been touching upon this the points before I even got to it. So maintenance. How much would it cost to maintain and repair the RV? Actually, yeah. How much does it cost to maintain and repair the RV?
You very little, very little. If you want to wash it yourself, like here, the big one, it was costing me 300. I think it was 330. Every year, I'd have it. I come down here, I would have it
Mhm.
wash uh, and sprayed with uh, wax.
Mhm.
Spray wax, and it looked like brand new. And that was one expense. If you want to wash it more, well, it depends where you keep it, and how much you travel. Mine didn't travel that much. That big one, you know, at first it did the first 4 years, 5 years, you know. I took it home to West Virginia for 4 or 5 times. Then after that, I quit.
Okay.
I just parked it here in Florida, and I would leave it here.
Mhm. Gotcha.
And it
Gotcha.
was parked, and being parked down here, well, again, the sun is the enemy. So that's why you want to wax it, trying to protect it.
Yeah.
And when you park them in Florida, another thing too, you have to put dehumidifiers in. It has to be plugged in with electric, which we
Hmm.
were. Our
Hmm.
electric bill was like $15 a month. You know,
Hmm.
we left it here. And dehumidifiers, I bought two. two that were, good for almost twice the size of this camper.
Mhm.
And they didn't work hard because,
Mhm.
they're going to run. Well, we're here 5 months, so we're 6, 8, 7 months. You know,
Mhm.
well, what I do is set them up with timers. One
Mhm.
works 1 hour, the other one works an hour. They
Mhm.
alternate,
Mhm.
so they don't work full time. And if one can quit, well, nobody's watching. You know, because you get a lot of mildew down here in Florida. You park anything, you're going to get mildew, condensation here. It's very humid at times,
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
very humid. So
Gotcha.
I do humidifiers, and we came back, walked in. It was like we're coming home, and the RV was clean inside. The first time we didn't do that, it was mildew on the walls,
Oh wow.
mildew on the ceiling and on the cabinets. We had wonderful, beautiful wood cabinet. My wife worked her butt off to clean it. We swore
Right.
that we'll never do that again. You know, oh,
Oh,
we didn't know. We learned. You know, there's
gotcha.
a lot of stuff to learn. It depends where you go. You go
Of
where
course.
it's you go up north, you're not going to need that.
Right. 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 Um. Also, now, how about test drive? Taking the RV for a test drive before buying it.
Well, no, if you're buying a trailer, you don't have to tell you. It's the vehicle that's the most important. What kind of truck you got?
Mhm.
You you can do it with a SUV if you got a right engine, whatever your SUV can tow. You
Mhm.
can have a camper like this. I've seen people pull campers like I've got with RVs. You know,
RV. Okay.
you can do that. Yeah, when you tow a trailer, it's easier. You know, the bigger you got to have the right engines. A vehicle that's designed for it. So
Right.
you don't have any much weight on the SUV. The weight is to pull it. Towing.
Got.
Where
Got you.
if you have a fifth wheel, you got part of the fifth wheel that's in the bed of your truck.
Oh shoot.
You know, like 2,800. My last one, when I set that thing in the back of my truck, but I had a truck for it. It was 2,800 pounds in the bed, in the center of the bed. So your truck is going to squat. So what I did, I put air shocks, and it just went down maybe 2 inches, maybe an inch and a half to 2 inches.
Okay.
And if I didn't have that, it would have went down probably 6 inches. So your truck would be like this.
Right. 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 I'm
Uh,
still.
you don't want to do that.
Right.
It's all
Okay.
whatever the capacity of your truck. You can buy 2,500. Like my 1,500 is not designed for a lot of weight in it. You want to go to 2,500 or 3,500 because today they make RVs that are 44 feet long, 45, and those things weigh probably 18, 19,000 pounds. So you need a dually a lot of times. A dually truck.
Mhm.
That's the
Mhm.
best if you can afford a dually because you'll never know what's back there.
Right.
You
Right.
get a $3,500 dually or just a regular truck 3,500. They make both. I would go with a dually.
With the dually, because you're good in
Again,
any situation.
again, when you go with a dually, your gas mileage is not going to be much more than you know 8, 10 miles to the gallon.
Right. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a lot of things to.
Um. And what are your thoughts about people who want to buy on impulse, just right away, right away?
Well, I wouldn't do that. I never do that. I have a rule in my life. I will not buy one thing the first day. If I walk into your place and you say, "Oh, I'll let you have it for this, let you have it for that," and I don't care. You come down on the price and everything. I said, "Okay, that's the deal." But now I'm gonna go home and think about it, and I'll call you tomorrow or the day after. You know, I don't ever buy anything the first day.
Mhm. Mhm.
Think about it. Roll it in your head. Do I really need this? What do I need? Blah blah. Ask yourself questions, and you know,
Right.
and And if you really like it, then there's a lot of things involved. But I don't do anything on spur of the moment.
Correct. Correct.
I
Definitely.
made that it's mandatory in my life.
100%. 100%. And they talk about other things to keep in mind. Consider different types of RVs. So I guess once you see one type of RV, you may want to try looking into other types as well too.
You can look, yeah, look at a lot of them, and you'll decide, and ask questions about towing. Some are easier to tow than others, you know. You got a big fifth wheel, and you don't have the vehicle. A lot of people, I've seen that on the road,
Mhm.
because the truck is only going to support so much. If you're going down the highway and your axles break, wow, that can be bad.
Yes.
You don't want to overload a truck.
And they mention factor in travel access, such as whether you can access import areas when the slides are in.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Well, they'll ask you the size of your RV. Most parks do that. They'll say, what do you have? So you tell them, how long is it? Well, you tell them, because they got different size site. If you only need 45 feet, they're not going to give you a 65 or 70 foot, RV that they can rent to somebody that's got a big RV. So that's important. You just tell them the size, and usually there's no increase in the price. If you got a site that's 25 feet longer than the other, they're both the same price. Usually by the day, by the week, or by the month.
Okay. Okay. They mention consider extending camping season features such as installation or enclosed underbelly. What is that?
Underbelly,
Enclosed.
yeah. That's insulation underneath, under the
Okay.
belly, underneath. Yeah. So some of you got some that you can live in it in the wintertime. They're more expensive because they're more insulated.
Right.
These RVs don't have like a house, 2x4 walls. They pretty much done away. They used to have 2x2s, I think. I'm not sure, but now it's all metal. The studs in the walls is all metal. Make them lighter and stronger.
Right.
Because they're metal. They're aluminum, I guess, or whatever, but the metal it is.
Okay. Okay. Well, now we're gonna switch gears. Well, that's for the RV part. I hope this was a educational part for anybody who is interested in purchasing RVs or looking to get RVs in the future. I know you're into RVs, Ron. That's why I brought that up because I found that interesting. And I think I've told you this before in the past. I've actually always wanted to do that van life. I've seen people do van life, but if you have a family, that's something that you try when you're single, when you don't have when it's you by yourself and stuff. But I've seen people who do the van life. I'm not gonna lie, it looks cool. It looks cool. You just lay in there,
Yeah,
pick up.
well, yeah, you make a bed. The back of your van is nothing but a bed, and you can have a setup outside where you got a table. You can do some cooking. Get you a grill, a small grill. You know, some chairs and but it's okay for a weekend. It's like going camping for a weekend. A van
Right.
would be perfect. You go camping for a weekend, and usually you have a fire on the ground, or a grill or whatever, and some chairs. You sit around, have a little fire in the evening. You know, uh, you're out in the fresh air. But to start to spend time inside, you'll go crazy.
Yeah. It could only lay down, sit up. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Oh man.
Another thing is they got these little campers now that pops up. It's like a tent once you set it up.
Mm,
I don't know if you've seen those.
no.
They
No.
pop
Oh,
up. It's a trailer, but it's
oh, and in the back of in the back of it, yep, yep. Okay,
yeah,
I see.
yeah, yeah. Those are nice if you got kids because they got beds. They yeah, you can have 2, 3 kids, and you and your wife, and you know. But that's only for cool weather, nice weather.
Right.
Like in the wintertime, it wouldn't be too good for like it was this morning here, 32 degrees, 33 degrees. Be a little chilly. You'd have to spend quite a bit of money on sleeping bags,
Oh yeah.
heavy, heavy duty sleeping bags.
Oh man, for real. You're not lying. You're not lying.
Now, camping is a lot of fun. It's
Huh.
relaxing, fresh air. You have a bonfire, you roast marshmallows, and you get all. It's just a lot of fun. I've done that all my life. I hunt. You know, I've done that for like 2 weeks at a time. You know,
Okay.
in a tent. You know, but you're hunting. You get up in the morning before daylight and
Right.
come back to your tent in the afternoon.
Right. Right. Right.
It's,
Okay. So we're gonna change gears again. Part of the putt since we was talking about the RV changing gears. What you call it? So let's focus on. We're gonna go back to wrestling now. This was later in your career, the years between 1991 and 2014. You had made a slight return to WCW. This was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and you had matches with you had feuds with Rick Steiner. How was it like working with Rick Steiner, if you remember?
oh, that was good. I like
It
to
was
work with. Yeah, he's my kind of guy.
okay.
You know, he didn't look like a douchebag in the ring.
Get
He looked like a wrestler. He was tight, solid. You know,
right,
a good worker. You know,
right. Was
good.
he? How about his personality? How was he in the locker room?
I, I don't know. I never was in the same room. Maybe once, twice.
Right, right,
I
right.
never was around him very much. Uh, I never traveled with him, but
Mm.
yeah, he was a good guy. You know,
Okay.
I never was around him a long, long, long time. Maybe a week, 2 weeks.
Mm. Now, how
Never
was
did. The best way we're known people back then, it was road trips. Well, I never made a road trip with him.
and so wait, but you didn't have to? Did you have quite a few road trips because you actually flew? You flew yourself from time
Yeah,
to time.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I flew myself almost everywhere.
but
Sometimes it was ridiculous. It was faster by car, but I flew.
okay,
I remember being in North Carolina and being booked in I don't know, maybe Columbia, 100 miles. You'd be there in an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. But no, I flew. Took me 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get to the airport, and then I had to be picked up when I got to Columbia. You
right.
know, and then I'd have somebody take me back to the airport. So it was actually faster to get in the car. But I love flying, so I used to go fly in the morning for breakfast.
You said, ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Well, there was 3 or 4 of us guys that I knew had airplanes. You get to
okay,
meet people, know people, and hey, let's meet over at this because there were airports that serve breakfast. You know,
okay,
smaller airports, not big airports. I'm talking about just small town airports.
okay.
And we'd fly, meet there, and have breakfast, and then we'd go back home.
Nice, 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 nice.
There's nothing like
Um,
flying. Flying was, I would have stayed up there all the time. I'd never come back down.
hey,
That's
listen,
why I said if I would have been an astronaut, I'd say, hey, don't bring me back. Leave me up here.
you have and the funny thing is about that, you have a lot of people that are afraid not flying an airplane, but flying on an airplane. They say they rather drive. Now, here's the funny thing: you run more of a chance of getting into, and I'm sure you know this, of getting into an accident in a car than you do on a plane.
Oh my God, the odds are, you know, if you fly, I don't know if you know this, the odds are if you fly commercial, different this destination every flight, and it has to be commercial. How many years would you fly without most likely nothing happened before something would happen?
How many? I don't know.
80 years.
What the?
Every day now. I'm talking about flying every single day. It'd be about around 80 years before something would happen. But it has to be an airline, not a private, because airliners are very safe, you know, and different destination every time. Yeah, I read that. That's just, they did the stats, and there's 80 years.
80 freaking.
Yeah, yeah.
Drive.
Flying is the safest mode of transportation. It's safer than railroads. It's safer than buses. It's safer than ships. It is all the way around. The thing people have is that when you see, especially airliners, you know, it's horrible, you know, and it sticks in your mind, I guess. You know, all this, you know, 200-300 people died dead, and but
Right,
it's very rare.
right, right. I mean, when you hit these roads, especially in New York City, you got
Oh,
you got to start praying, keep your fingers crossed, and start praying
it,
like, please let me get home safe.
it's almost like being in the demolition derby.
Yeah.
You know?
What you call it? They asked. I don't know if you. I'm sure you remember James Dean.
Yeah.
They,
Oh, yeah.
they
Well,
asked,
look at it. Yeah.
yeah. They asked him. He used to love to race on the racing track, and they asked him a question. This was one of his last interviews. They said, "Would you rather? Would you rather find? Where do you find it safer, racing on a racetrack or driving in the street?" He said, "Racing
Yeah.
on a racetrack." And they
Yeah.
said, "Really? How's that possible?" He said, "Because when you're on a racetrack, you and the people that you're racing with, you develop rules that you
Yeah.
guys follow. But then
Yeah.
on a regular street, you don't know what the next man is gonna do. You don't know what could happen. And then
Oh,
it,
yeah.
the crazy
Yeah.
thing is, the last thing he said was he chuckled and he said, be careful, how you drive on the street because the life you save might be my own." And
Yeah.
that's how he died. He died
Yeah.
in a, as far as racing,
Yeah.
just like. So I was like, "Oh wow!" But yeah, that's just crazy. It's just taking your chance on that road on a day-to-day
Well,
basis.
you're on a 2 lane road. Somebody's coming at you. I like the 4 lanes better, but 2 lane road, and you see all these cars, trucks, even big RVs, you know, coming at you. Now imagine that. There's an 80-year-old guy in that big RV, big old bus coming at you. You know, geez, that's scary alone. You know, he probably went and bought that RV because you know, he could afford it. You know, and he probably never drove one. So,
Oh, yeah, I'm laughing because I've seen, man, you hit the hammer right on the nail. I've seen some stuff on these roads, man, and
yeah.
sometimes they're coming at you. I mean, listen, those high beam lights.
Oh,
Sometimes I think
yeah.
when you should only use those lights that's why they call fog lights. When it's foggy, you shouldn't turn those lights on just because it's nighttime, because it affects the oncoming traffic and it
Oh,
affects the person behind you because you're trying to look in your rear view and you see this bright light shining in your face and it's like, oh god, it's just yeah, it's a killer. It's a killer.
yeah, and especially on a 2 lane road. I mean, you know, you don't have the same space, you know. And
Person.
if it's curvy, if you're up in the mountains, you know, I know
I
there's more wrestlers that got killed, you know, in car accidents than, you know, I know 2 accidents that about 2, 3, 4 years apart. 3 wrestlers in each one of them. Oh, there's another one. There was 4. One was in Canada. You
wow,
know, three wrestlers. 3 times that happened.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
It's what you call it, and you know, sometimes going back to those 2-lane roads like you was talking about, the only thing that separates you and that other car on those 2-lane roads is a thin sheet of paper. A
Yeah,
thin sheet of paper. That's how close.
yeah. Oh,
Oh
there's
man.
not much. There's not much room for an error. You know.
Nope, nope, not at all. So okay, so let me ask you. So your transition from national TV as far as working with the NWAs, the WWE or WWF back then, how was it like as far as making that transfer now to the indie scenes, the independent scenes, and which one stuck out to you as far as a memorable one that you worked with?
Well, I knew was I wasn't full time either. I was probably 3 times a week, 4 times a week, twice a week. You know, I didn't make it. Like every week, every day of the week, and stuff like that. And I knew I was retired. I retired. I look at it. My retirement was when I left WWF, and I
Right.
came home and went hunt for 2 weeks, and then after that, I did it as a favor to some of those guys. They needed talent, and like what was his name? He was promoting Knoxville. Uh, he was a manager. What was his name?
Um,
Uh, Talk a lot. He was a talking box.
uh, Cornette?
Cornette.
No, Cornette. Yeah,
Cornette.
Cornette.
Yeah. Well, you know, I wrestled against what was his name? Jeez, he died with cancer.
Hmm.
He was in.
I'm trying to think. Trying to
He
remember.
wrestled in WWF. God.
I know Bobby Heenan died with cancer. He died of
Yeah,
cancer.
not him. Not him.
But
No, he was a guy. He was a good wrestler too.
right.
What was his name? Jeez. Ah,
It'll come to us.
yeah, he
Um,
worked for Cornette. I wrestled him 2, 3 times in Knoxville. You know, we had an angle going there, and we wind up. I think the blowout was a pile driver versus pile driver because he used
okay.
a pile driver and I used a pile driver.
Was it
Uh,
Mr. Wonderful? No,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mr. Wonderful.
That's
Yeah.
the wonderful Paul Orndorff.
I had I had an excellent interview. Well, it actually is going to turn into a movie. It turned into a movie. I'll be putting it out soon with his son, Travis
Uh,
Orndorff. I had a good
does he
in-depth conversation with his
does he
son.
wrestle? His son?
No, he never used to really wrestle as far as with that. Um, he works and stuff like that. He's involved in the church.
Yeah,
But yeah, he never really, his father didn't want that for him.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
That was
God,
bad. That was sad, man. When he got cancer, jeez.
yeah,
You know. Yeah,
yeah,
he loved to hunt. Him and I we were planning on going hunting, and it never materialized.
yeah.
For some reason.
Any any road stories or any locker room stories that you have with about Mr. Wonderful?
No, I never was around him much. You
Okay.
know, uh, I went to New York, and I don't know if I was there first or if he was there first.
Mm,
And then I ran into him. I had met him a few times. I don't think I had wrestled him, but he wrestled in Knoxville, and that's when what's his name called me and asked
right.
me if I wanted to wrestle Paul Orndorff. I said, sure. So, but it was like I think I did it. We probably had 3 or 4 matches.
Wow. I would love to. Is that on YouTube or is
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. It was a small promotion, so I don't know.
I did see, as a matter of fact, no, I seen one match with you and Mr. Wonderful for an independent cup. It probably, you know what? It probably was. Probably
Yeah,
was. Yeah,
yeah.
probably. But so and you also wrestled for the WWC, the World Wrestling Council in 1991 and reignited your feud with Carlos Colon over the
Oh, yeah,
WWC.
in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Puerto Rico. Yeah,
This was after the Bruiser Brody incident.
yeah. Well, yeah. Nobody wanted to go anymore.
Mhm.
They boycotted. They boycotted going over there. And so they called me, and I said, sure. And well, I didn't have everybody. I guess was I don't know if they were afraid or what, but I didn't have anything to do with that. I said I knew Carlos, and we had some great matches,
Right.
and
Right.
that lasted 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And as a matter of fact, I would go there just on the weekend. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
I'd come home on Monday because I was flying cargo at the same time, so I couldn't go the whole entire week.
So you was
Well,
doing
we had some
you
great matches. I love it. But and the reason he called me also is because in '91 it wasn't long ago that I had been the world champion. You know, so I had a lot of exposure over in Puerto Rico doing that.
nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, and he played well too. Yeah.
Oh man.
I had met Carlos Colon. My God, years and years ago in Montreal.
Okay.
Montreal.
Hmm. And
That's when
how was he like?
oh, good guy. He's a good worker. Good guy. Yeah, when I had met him back then, he was not a promoter. He just wrestled. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And if you don't mind me asking, how was the pay over there as far as with
You mean in Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico? How was the pay?
Oh, it was worth going, believe me.
Okay.
Well, they couldn't get any talent, so it was a little bit cost a little more. Cost a little more.
I understand. I understand. Oh man.
That was a sad thing, though. That thing happened like that.
Yeah.
Things like that should never happen. And the guy that did it, he never went to jail.
I was about to say, yep. There was no arrest. There was no.
Well, another thing too. I hate to say that, but he, what's his name? He was a little bit of a bully at times. So you got to be careful when you act like that.
Mm-hmm.
Brody was pretty rough on the edges sometimes. I liked him because he flew with me a couple of times. And yeah, I liked him. I mean,
but when it came down,
that's one thing I had learned in life. You don't want to scare people. If you scare them or in a threatening way or anything like that, no matter what the size is, it could be dangerous. It depends on somebody takes it. Somebody takes it, like their life is in danger. Well,
something funny. I was having the same conversation as the exact words what you said. I was having the same conversation as far as with a friend of mine, and we was talking about when he was in school, he knew this kid that got picked on every single day, and they used to beat him up. He got beat up by boys, he got beat up by even girls and stuff. And then one day, my friend went to the school, and he seen him going into his locker. They said he was packing guns in there like he was ready for World War I. And then the guy told him, because he was friends with my friend. He told him, he said that, listen, I suggest that you leave right now and stuff like that. Today is not a good day. And then he looked at his friend's face, and he could tell that the elevator didn't go up that day. The body was there, but there was nothing. He snapped because he was sick and tired of being picked on and stuff like that. So he was ready to start killing and start shooting. So that just brings me back to what you just said as far as with everything. Like when you put somebody back to the wall to the point that they're scared, not a lot of people think like making somebody scared is actually a great thing. It's not really that. It's not really a great thing, because now you put them in a position that I got to take. Yeah.
Well, even a big old rat, will jump on you if you corner him. Because you got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
It's an instinct that everybody has. That's why I never threaten people. ever.
Wow. Wow.
Well,
You so you won the championship over there. What is it? It was for a second time. You won it twice over there at the WWC with the
yeah,
Carlos Colon promotion.
yeah, yeah.
You end up beating him for that title both times, or okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Oh
was
yeah, I had a hard time getting out of the ring. It's a dangerous place too. Oh yeah, yeah. People,
the
people. He's like a god over there. You just touch him and people are ready to kill your ass. Just put your hands on.
so
He's over like a god over there.
he's there. He's there. Hulk Hogan, there, Ric Flair.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So explain this to me. When you found out that you was going over on both those matches, you had to work out security, exit, and exiting plan and stuff like that. Did you have to work all of that out as well too? Even
No, no.
even
There was
entering the ring?
hardly any protection. I stepped out of the ring one time over there, and as I stepped out in the corner, the post is here, and I was stepping. This was after the match. I was leaving to go to the dressing room. So as I stuck my head through the ropes to get out, the post was here. A bottle, somebody threw a bottle, and glass flew all around my face. If I would have been this much to the left, I would have got that bottle right in the face. I
Holy
don't know who
snap!
threw it. I never saw it coming. Yeah, they were dangerous places. And the cops were probably taken for him, you know.
Yeah,
So, yeah, your protection would have been against you.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it was dangerous. Sometimes they threw rocks. They put a rock in a paper cup and they throw them. Oh man, it stings when they hit you with that. It gets your attention.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did
there
you
was something. Go ahead.
would you say the reason why the pay was high is because of the circumstances over there, as far as with number one, it was hard to get talent. Number two,
Yeah.
dealing with fans over there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there was a lot of guys that didn't want to go, and he could, so I probably could have got more if I would have pushed it. But I was happy with what I got paid.
Right, 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 right. Do you still keep in contact with him till today?
No, never have, never have, never have.
Okay,
Well, I after that I quit going anywhere anyway. So, but
gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Um, let's see. Then you moved on to Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling promotion, where you feuded with Paul Orndorff and Kevin Sullivan, among others. How was it like working with Kevin Sullivan?
yeah, Kevin was all right. He had a different style than most. You know, but, you know, you know, I, that make me laugh.
So,
He
oh,
he he was successful with what he did, but
mhm,
you know, I'm more serious. The business to me was, you know, I didn't like cartoonish. To me, that
right.
was, who believes in that?
You're not, you're not for the haha wrestling type
Yeah.
antics. You know?
Well, Kevin was a good guy. I liked him.
Listen, I'm gonna be
I,
honest with you. Before Undertaker, a lot of people I actually believed in his weird gimmicks like the dark side stuff and all of those things. And it even look, he did that gimmick so well that and we're just speculating here. I'm just curious to find out your opinion. They even said that he had something to do with the death of Chris Benoit.
it could. He was that was his wife that he killed, ex-wife.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you never know.
That's
I
yeah,
never thought of it that way, but it could be.
yeah.
That was horrible. That's
I know. It's just this business. It puts how can I say, it puts unforeseen, unmanageable pressure that nobody could realize, as far as, unless you're involved in business. Especially, look, you guys were on the road for how long? Like almost 360 days in the year. You guys were on the road for 350, what? 50, 55 maybe?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of guys that had a hard time handling it, everybody's different. You know, some people are gone all the time. They like it, like Ric Flair. I think he liked to be on the road all the time.
Yeah.
That was his cup of tea. He loved it. He loved the traveling. He loved all the whole aspects of it.
I'm not knocking Ric Flair when I say this, but it seems like if you were that type of guy, like yourself, you're a family man, and I'm sure there was other workers who were family men as well too. Those who are family people, they found it hard being on the road all the time, because when the holidays hit, Thanksgiving, and so on and so forth, you found them, not being at the most happiest as far as in the business. But those who, whether they had families or not, those who wasn't really family people, yeah, those were the guys that they're 24/7, love living on that road and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's
That's like Ric Flair really enjoyed being the world champion. I don't think I could have took a week of it, maybe a week, but
right.
not months and months and months. Traveling here, traveling there. I don't care how much money they would have paid me. No, it's your sanity.
Right.
It's the way how you feel.
Right.
If you're not happy, get the hell out of there. That's what I always said. I never spent an extra second. I told a few promoters, I said goodbye. Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? First of all, you're a thief. You don't pay worth for shit.
Wow.
Why should I put up with all this crap?
Ay. Yeah. Yeah.
Why? You know, Especially we were so lucky. I guarantee you, if I was to ask most of the wrestlers if they thought of what I thought about wrestling, for example, there was 32 different promotions. That was the best business to be in. You could go anywhere. 32 promotion. I could pick up the phone the next day and I'd get booked somewhere else. You never run out of work, ever.
Right.
That was including 2 promotions in Canada. You never run out of work. As a matter of fact, I had most of all those promoters call me at one time or another. But I can't be everywhere at one time. And I was happy where I was, so I didn't want to change.
Right.
But I could have. And that's a good feeling. You'll never run out of work. How many people are worried about their job? Is my job going to be here next week, next month? And so that was a luxury to me, to know that, you could go anywhere you wanted. And that's not counting overseas. I could have went to Japan, could have, went to Australia, New Zealand. I never wanted to travel over there. I went to Japan.
Okay.
So, but I don't know how many other wrestlers thought about that. Hey, we can be very independent.
Hey, that's why they called you guys independent contractors, especially for taxi.
Yeah.
So, well, you mentioned Japan. How was the pay over there? That was real good. The pay over there was
well.
Real
We had a guarantee. We went over there. It was a 5-week tour. 5 weeks. We had guarantees. You didn't make below the minimum, and everything was paid for. We traveled in a Mercedes bus. We had a driver. We had a translator. And it was. I liked it. I like Japanese people. They're very, very polite.
Right.
Very, very polite people.
And their cities
And
as well.
I don't think I wanted to live there permanently, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going over there. and you talk about some ribs now. I was the first. We went over there 1969. Yeah, that was the first year that the 747 jet came out.
Okay.
And we flew from, I was in Florida, from Florida. I don't know. We wind up stopping in over in, what's that island? The big island there.
We're
On the way to,
in Florida or by Florida, not too close, not too far from Florida.
the big country, big island.
Uh,
Jeez, I can't even think of that. Oh man, Honolulu,
okay, okay, okay,
Honolulu.
okay.
So that made it. We even stopped on the way back, but we went up there and Terry. I don't know if you know anything about Terry Garvin.
Hmm.
Terry Garvin never stopped pulling ribs on people. I mean, every day he did something. He was a funny guy, man. I'm telling you. And when we get to Japan, Terry says to me, he says, "Huh." And we stood out. We had blonde hair, and we're in Tokyo. All the Japs. I mean, they could spot an American a mile away, and especially with blonde hair. And there was 7 of us, I think. And what was their name? We had a couple of guys, big guys. Jeez. Anyway, Terry says, I'm going to live just like the Japanese. I'm going to do everything Japanese. I'm going to eat Japanese food. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So, okay, whatever. Well, he starts wearing a kimono. And the kimono, usually you got one light kimono, and then you put the big one on. The light one is like your underwears and all. And so you wear the other one, and you wear sandals. And he started going out and shopping and going to restaurants. And he shuffled everywhere he went. He shuffled, and he had a pretty good nose, big nose, and he smoked cigars. So he'd have a big cigar in his mouth, man, and he's shuffling here, man, shuffling there, and that blonde hair, going into a store, going here, going there. It was the funniest thing I've seen in my life. I'd walk behind him, man. I watched the people looking at him, going with that big cigar, puffing, and then he goes in, comes back, go to the hotel, and we're gonna go get on the elevator, and he starts bowing. People are in the elevator want to come out, but if you bow, they're gonna bow. So everything come to a stop. They're bowing, he's bowing, they're bowing, he's bowing. All the time he had taken a razor blade and cut the back in the middle of his kimono in the back, and every time he was mooning people because they would open up. he didn't have anything underneath. So a couple of Japanese women brought him a kimono. They're trying to tell him, "Oh no, I like this one." They want him to change. No, 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 no. I keep this one, and he keeps bowing to people. I'm telling you, I never laughed so hard in my life. It's just the funniest thing I ever seen. And he did that. He did that 100 times at least. He went to all kinds of places, and he'd bow. And they're so polite. They always want to get the last bow. So he'd take about 2 steps, turn around, and give him a bow, and then they'd give him a bow, and then start all over again. Oh, it was bowing contest all the time.
Wow.
I don't know how many kimonos he cut the back and everything.
I'm sure you wrote a book with the ribs that he pulled. I'm sure you.
Oh, oh Lord. Oh, another time we there was Bill Dromo. You ever heard of Bill Dromo?
Uh-uh.
Big Bill Dromo.
I got it.
He was from Georgia. He was in
Okay.
Japan with us. So one night we went out drinking or something. We came back to the hotel, and they had little cars. This is 1969. The cars, small cars. And we come out of the bar, and we've been drinking. So all three of us, we move the cars. We just swing them, and we turn them this way, turn them that way, turn another one this way. The whole parking lot. We were sweating. We worked so hard. You swing, you pick up the car, in the back, all three of us, whoop, whoop, and we'd move it over there. And we got up the next morning, and we watched those people going to work, coming out of the hotel. They're looking at the parking lot. My car wasn't parked like this. It was parked over there. They're scratching their heads. And
Was this after? Was this? Oh wait, your camera is off. Is off angle.
Hang on.
Yeah. Was this after a night of drinking? This happened?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, we were drinking sake.
Okay.
Oh. No, it was a fun place to go. I enjoyed it. That's when what was his name? The Giant Baba. Remember
Yep.
Giant Baba? Yeah.
Okay. Yep. How was Jim Cornette as far as being with Jim Cornette? I know you work for his promotion. How was he?
Jim Cornette was all right. Yeah, he's a good guy. You never seen the tape, the video? He did a thing on me about he wrestled me one time. He did something. He was a manager, tag team, and I don't know. He did something. Oh, I know what it was. When he threw that damn fire in my face.
Right.
I don't know if you ever seen that.
I believe.
Yeah. It burned my damn eyelids.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, it burned my damn eyelids. Anyway, shit happens. And but the thing was, I wanted him to. There was a stipulation where I'd wrestle him if we beat them, I'd get 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes with him in the ring, something like that. I can't remember all the little details. But he didn't want to get in the ring with me, but he was forced to, I don't know if he pooped in his pants or peed in his pants, but the way he tells it, he says, I look like a maniac coming at him. You know how Cornette is. He says his eyes was bugging out of his head. Yeah, he did something. I don't know if you ever saw it or something. It's like what was it like being in the ring with Ronnie Garvin or something like that? He's entertaining. He can talk now.
Yep.
He's a talker.
Oh yeah. He
still
still got it. He still hasn't lost a step to me. So, oh boy. So listen, we're gonna close off this segment. We're gonna close up. I don't want you to go anywhere, but we're gonna close off this segment right here. Did you have fun, Ron?
Yeah. Well, all that brings so many memories. Things that you don't ever think about.
Right.
When you do this, like popping up, about Japan and stuff like that.
Oh man.
The only thing is I got a problem. The only problem I got is remembering names.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, once we start talking about a location or a promotion or maybe somebody else, the name starts popping up. Yeah. Okay. So listen, like I said, don't go nowhere. So just gonna close off. Hope you guys have fun. This has been another Stories from the Road to the Ring with the star of Stories from the Road to the Ring, your host, Rugged Ronnie Garvin. I'm his co-host, Lorenz Dean. Hope you guys had a great time. Anything in closing you'd like to say, Ron?
Had a good time. I had a good time doing this. Well, it brings back old memories, and you know, which is good sometimes.
There you go.
Most of the time.
There you go. There you go. That's it.
You're entertaining too.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Till next time. Enjoy.
So long.